Next up, at UFC London, we have Jai Herbert taking on Chris Padilla in the featured prelim of the evening. Jai Herbert, 13-5 in his career. Why are you going like this?
I'm telling people that we didn't have a weekend together at the water park.
Oh. Jai Herbert, 13-1 in his... No, not 13. What the hell is his record? 13-5 in his career. 2-2-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that bounce-back win over Rolando Bedoya, taking on Chris Padilla, 15-6 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5, looking for his 3rd UFC win. Jai Herbert's a guy that has built an entire career off of one single impactful moment in his career. Overall, though, he's a technical striker. He likes to keep fights at range, ton of movement. His feet are never planted for more than a second or two. He's always cutting angles, feinting, moving from side to side. He can be a bit low volume. He does have a negative striking differential, so this phenomenal striker, Jai Herbert, has actually hit more than he hits his opponents. He can be taken down by some of the better fighters in the division. He's coming off that decision win over Rolando Bedoya, where his volume was actually better than usual. He's taking on Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's had some mixed success on the local scene before he made it to the UFC. He seems to have found his rhythm, and he's racking up a couple of wins. He likes to come forward. He'll strike for a little bit. He'll work to a clinch. He'll work a takedown. He's not great at anything, but he does pressure forward really well. He's very durable. He's explosive, and he will work multiple angles of a fight. He's got plenty of activity, plenty of cardio. He's coming off that knockout win over Rong Zhu, where he was striking early and didn't really look to wrestle. And here's a drinking game that I talked about in the quick picks, Jacob, and we should do it Saturday. We should take a shot.
I don't drink.
Okay. We should take a shot every single time the commenting team or the freaking highlight reel talks about Jai Herbert dropping Ilia Topuria in 2022.
They won't do it because they're trying to pump up Ilia to fight Islam.
Oh, I think they're going to show it over and over.
You know who was missing from all those Zaleski highlights? They didn't show one of him beating the absolute fuck out of Benoit Saint Denis.
Oh, really? Why not? Because they want Benoit to be good? That's funny. I didn't even notice that.
Oh, I did because that was one of the worst. You can make just the highlight of that fight.
Yeah.
Go if you guys want to go rewatch that card and watch the highlight. There's not one of
them. They
them.
fired that fight. That beating was so bad they fired the referee for letting it continue on the spot. Well, anyway, then you won't get very drunk, but I assume that Jai Herbert will just be gaslit into thinking, oh, you dropped Ilia Topuria 3 years ago when he was up in weight, and now you're the king of the world. That's why the odds are what they are. He's literally been living off of that highlight, and that is an accomplishment. Ilia Topuria went on to be the featherweight champion of the world, knocked out Max Holloway, first person to do that. So I get it. But the reality is, I do think Chris Padilla can win this fight. I think Chris Padilla can move forward, stay in his face, back him up, never let him hit a rhythm because Jai Herbert is a rhythm kind of fighter and just grind his way to a win. This is razor thin. The odds do reflect that. So these odds are probably pretty close, right? Jai Herbert minus 120. He's the established UFC guy. So those odds are probably fine. I think Chris Padilla can get this done. Jai Herbert has fought the better slate of fighters, but Jai Herbert has been living off of a highlight from 3 years ago. That's his entire career. And I don't think that's going to relive itself here. What do you think, Jakey boy? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased in this pick. There's no doubt about that. Chris Taco Padilla, Christopher was my lock of the week against Rong Zhu. I got a lot of hate for that, but he came through, and I've had conversations with Taco and stuff, and he is a fucking great dude. I mean, he is a super down-to-earth guy, and he is one of those guys that when you talk to him and he says things, he is not just fucking saying things. And he is one of those guys, too, that his demeanor is perfect for fighting because he doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. In the fight, he never really gets overwhelmed, even if things aren't really going his way. As you mentioned, that Rong Zhu fight, he was my lock of the week, and I was watching that fight and being like, it just didn't feel like it was going to go his way. After the first round, went to the corner. They talked about it. They just have nice, casual, calm conversations. Nobody yelling at anybody. Let's increase the footwork. When he throws that cross, the elbow could be there. They waited for the cross, committed to the elbow. That wasn't a lucky thing. That's a setup thing. When I talk about dogs, and I mentioned in my Lock of the Week video, there's two different type of dogs, in my opinion, like two extremes. You have guys like Cheppy. Cheppy is a fucking animal who I said, I don't think he knows half the shit he's doing. He just is going to go forward. He's going to cause chaos, and he has convinced himself that he's going to win those exchanges, and that's how he dogs fights out. There's also dogs, like a guy like Taco Padilla, who I reference him as almost like a surgeon in there. You're going to see him taking his time. You're going to see him kind of working some stuff out, eating a shot here, not a big shot, right? But he is making the reads. His coaches are making the reads, and the relationship that he has with his coaches and the way that they can freely talk to each other while he's in the octagon and between rounds. It's the adjustments in this fight that's going to matter. It's the adjustments in this fight that's going to give Taco the bigger moments in the fight. I don't know if he's going to put out a guy like Jai, because Jai's a long guy, kind of hard to hit in front of his home fans, and Taco typically isn't like a Cheppy, a go for it, try to find the finish. The finishes just kind of find him sometimes. I like Taco. Great guy. I was very, very surprised that he was the underdog in this fight. I had talked to a couple 155ers. You guys know him. I talked to Nicholas Mata as well, former Lock of the Week. A lot of times when people are Lock of the Week, I make highlight videos for him, so I form somewhat relationships. I was telling Nicholas Mata, I was like, you should try to fight Jai. You should try to fight Jai. I was telling these 155ers, you should try to fight Jai. When I saw that Taco got this matchup, I was very excited for him. I actually told him, I was like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you're the underdog. And he was like, oh. Well, we'll see about that. So I'm all over Taco here. He is my lock of the week. Go watch that video, please, if you haven't already. It's a cool highlight video. We've hit 5 in a row. Taco would be 6. And this is one of those ones that, win or lose, I know I have the better fighter. The better fighter doesn't necessarily win all the time, but I know Taco is a better fighter than Jai. There's no disrespect to Jai. He's a talented guy, but when push comes to shove, I think Taco's going to find a way to either win the fight with a finish or at least have the bigger moments to win a decision. So I like Taco here. He's very well-rounded, and it feels like he's just on a special mission. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like he's in the right place at the right time. Two UFC wins, 2 finishes, and he's got the demeanor to really be a fucking problem in this division.
Listen, I agree. I like him here as well. I always like when I pick an underdog and then I find out who the lock of the week is. It's like, oh shit, nice. We picked the same person. I always love that. Because, like, all right, we had the same
and I'll say
read
this
here.
Too. He had, obviously he was wrestling Jan Top or whatever, and
he finished him.
And found that finish. And against Rongju, I mean, there was times where he was getting hit against Rongju. Because Rongju is fucking really good. I mean, you saw that in his last fight. If you put Rongju against Jai Herbert, I would take Rongju first round knockout and not even look. I wouldn't even think twice about it. So, yeah, Chris had some issues. Taco had some issues. But, I mean, like I said, they work through those. They make those reads. They saw that elbow was going to be on the cross. They committed to it, and you saw what happened. So
it should be a really fun fight. This is a great featured prelim. They're doing it for a reason. Padilla is in enemy territory here, so we'll see what happens with a homer decision or not. But either way, Jakey Boy and I both picked Chris Padilla, $7,900 in DraftKings Fantasy. If he gets his wrestling going, that score will absolutely match up to the salary
here.
Someone
just said it just caused the eye to swell. It wasn't like a KO shot or something. You dumb bitch. What the fuck? That is exactly what that was. It ended the fucking fight. You stupid fuck. An elbow straight to the eye that pops your eye out of socket and you can no longer see your fight. You're not like it's a KO shot or something. You stupid fuck.
They're not the brightest, but you would be. If you went to WeWantPicks.com and became a premium member, you unlocked all the tools, the picks, the bets, everything to do. You are officially one of the smarter ones. It's $10 a freaking month. Look around right now, wherever you're sitting, on a toilet in a gas station, in your car, in your room under the cover. Look around at all the dumb shit around you. How much of that was more than $10? For $10, you can have access to every pick bet tool that we offer for an entire month. You sign up now, you get clean through UFC 314. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member.
Taco
at the top.
Tuesday. Who says it?
I don't know. Who says it?
Taco Tuesday.
I don't know.